Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So today is Thursday, February 23rd, 2023, and actually we just got back from a little trip down to Allegheny State Park here in western New York, and apparently overnight while we were gone they got quite a bit of ice accumulation here, and the driveway is completely covered in ice, and you can kind of see a little bit of what they got here. This is just on the lid of my garbage tote here, but yeah, so the driveway is completely covered. I tried to shovel a little bit of it here while we were unloading the car, and you know, it's stuck. It's just stuck to the driveway, so you're not going to get that up. So anyway, yeah, super slick here, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn the time lapse on and turn the driveway on and see how it does with this. It does look a little deeper over here. You can kind of see where I was stepping to put the kids' stick collection over here, but you know, I kind of break through it a little bit over here, and then of course, you know, the garage floor is heated, so it didn't accumulate there. But yeah, bunch of ice on the side of the house here. I'm trying not to slip and fall, but yeah, you can kind of see this is all ice on the fiber cement siding. So they apparently had a nice little ice storm event here while we were gone, and this is what we come back to. So anyway, yeah, we haven't really had any measurable accumulation here in Buffalo in the month of February, so that's why there really hasn't been any snowmelt videos. But let's go ahead and turn this on and see if we can melt this off. I don't know how it's going to do with it being, you know, so solid like this, if it's going to bridge. And what I mean by bridge is sometimes the slab will heat up underneath and melt what's there, but if it can't completely melt it down, it'll actually bridge. There'll be a gap between the slab and the snow or ice above it, and unless you come out and walk on it or knock it down or shovel it, it'll just sit there, and you know, it's bridging is what they call it, so it really won't be effective. It's going to be interesting to see how it does here and how it handles this, but let's give it a shot. I really haven't run it this month, so let's see what it'll do. I'll take you downstairs and we'll do a little startup. Okay guys, down here in the utility room, it's I don't know, a few minutes later. It's about 10:57 a.m. So another cool test we can do here is, so the whole time we were gone, I shut off the power to the tank pump and to the recirculation pump. There's no reason to keep that water tank hot for the 3 or 4 days that we weren't here. So first, let's go ahead and turn that on. So it'll take a couple seconds for that aquastat to fire up, and then it'll kick on the heaters to reheat that tank. We can see what it's coming back at after sitting here all week. I'm guessing just probably 70. Actually, with the slabs firing, it probably keeps it pretty warm, so it might not even fire. Yeah, it's at 136, so it's not going to fire at all right now. Let's go ahead and get the recirc on, and that aquastat comes on, and that's just recircing over here to the mana block that keeps hot water to all the fixtures in the house. So and now let's go ahead and take note of the time, 10:58. Let's go ahead and turn the driveway on. We'll see what that starts to come back with. It's got to be pretty cold. I mean, it's totally encompassed in ice out there, encased in ice. So we'll see what it gets down to coming back. I've got this unit in a BTU, total BTU readout. So this is going to give us our BTUs, and I've got this in a flow readout. So this will give us our flow in gallons a minute. This is going to show per heater. This is going to show total for the entire system. So we're down to 73 and falling on the aquastat. Once that hits 65, it'll kick on the primary loop pump, which will fire the heaters. So 67, 66, 65. So that did not turn on because I also shut those off while we were away. So I need to go in here and I need to turn power on for those pumps. When we leave, I try to shut everything down. So even though the Snowmelt switches on, inside here there's more of those smart outlets that control power to the primary loop pump, and those are off right now. So when I go into smart things here on my phone, I'm gonna go ahead and turn primary loop pump for the Snowmelt on, and that'll go ahead and fire the heaters. Okay, so we're 180,000 BTUs, 3.7 gallons a minute. That's good. So brand new, they were about 3.8 out of the box. So, and we're down to 40 on the return glycol coming back from the driveway, 40 degrees. Up to 217. And down here we can also read these. I don't show these often, but I have them. So here's our temperature coming in from the radiant. As you can see, we're down to 48. And then this is what we've got going up to the heaters. Okay, so this is what's coming back up here. And if we look at the incoming temperature, we're showing 79 there, showing 81. This one needs a battery, so it's kind of goes in and out, but yeah, 79 here, and 42, 41 coming back. So, and up here we've got incoming from the heaters 137 degrees, and we're sending about 78 degrees out to the driveway. So if we come over here, you can see we are about, trying to get that to focus, we're about 79 degrees going out to the slab right now. We're down to 38 coming back. Down here we're showing 39. So, and that's okay because that has glycol in it. So the in from the radiant and the out to the radiant, that's a glycol loop. So even if that were to drop below 32, we're okay. We're not going to damage anything here. The water side out to the heaters and in from the heaters, that cannot go below 32. Otherwise that'll freeze inside the exchanger and we're going to have bigger problems, right? But as you can see here, I mean, we're not getting below 78 degrees going out, and we've got 137 coming in because these units are set to 140. So yeah, she's just going to sit here and purr along. I've got lots of other videos on this whole setup. If you're new to my channel and you're looking at this like, wow, you know, what is this? This looks way too complicated. It's really not. I designed and built the whole thing myself. I've got a whole channel, whole playlist on how I did it, over 100 videos of it in action, melting, and of me, you know, building it, wiring it, rewiring it several times, fixing leaks, you know, just doing things. But I really haven't done much to it other than rewire it a couple times just for me playing around. But plumbing wise, the thing's been solid. I haven't touched any of this copper, any of this PEX in almost 2 years now. It just runs. So we're already falling down to 200. We're going to be below 200,000 BTUs here pretty soon. We're hovering right around 202, 205,000. So that's total. So it's about 100,000 each unit. And yeah, we're climbing. We're up to 44, 45 now on the return. So we're already getting some warmer, it's not warm, but we're getting warmer return temps coming back from the slab. And we're about 80 degrees going out still. And we can even see that down here. We're 81.2 or 81.8, sorry. And we're at 82 going out to the slab. So that's how it works. Usually the amount going out to the heaters is the same as the amount going out to the slab. And that tells me that the flat plate is sucking as much heat and BTUs off of that primary loop as it possibly can, right? So we got 137.3 coming in from the heaters because they're set to 140. And we got 83 going back out to them. And on the other side, we've got 48 coming in from the driveway. and 83 going back to the driveway. So that tells me that, you know, 83.6 going out to the heaters, 83.6 going out to the radiant. That tells me that it's equal, right? So we're stealing as much as we possibly can through that flat plate from the heaters and dumping it over to the driveway, and it's working as designed. At least that's the way I've always, the way I did the math and calculated it, and I believe it's working well. So we're already down to 191,000 BTUs, and this will just sit here and purr, and we'll see how it does out there with that slab. I'm gonna stop rambling here, and if you want to learn more, check out the links in the description below. You can go see how I did all this and the mechanicals of it and the design of it and the calculations and all of that. But for now, yeah, we got hot water. The slabs just finished a cycle right before I turned this, right before I came down here. So those won't run for a while. And even then, as long as the Snowmelt's on, the slabs aren't gonna run, but that's okay. Snowmelt has priority over everything at this point, except for hot water. Hot water really doesn't have priority. It runs in parallel alongside the Snowmelt, but when this is on, it cycles through the tank anyway, so it stays pretty hot. This will usually stay at 138. And once we get the solar panels, I'll be adding back in a heating element, another aquastat, controllers. I got some relays here, and I got other videos on that coming up when I go ahead and put the heating element back in that tank. I've even been looking at heat pump water heaters and maybe replacing that with a heat pump unit, and then still using the tankless as a backup. So if the heat pump tank were to ever run out or not keep up, then the tankless units could come on and pump through the tank and basically take over. So still doing the math on that. You know, I hate to replace this now because there's really nothing wrong with it, with a $1,600 heat pump water heater if I don't, you know, if I don't have to, so to speak. But we'll see. Just running some ideas, and you know, once we get the solar panels up, just thinking of other ways I can make this a little bit more efficient and try to save. That's all. So anyway, guys, I'll cut over to the time lapse and we can watch the driveway melt and see what it does. Okay guys, it's still the 23rd. It's about 6:15 and it is definitely bridging, and I thought I would show you what I mean by that. So this is still solid ice. You can see here where I shoveled it a little bit. It comes up real easy because the concrete is warm. The concrete's definitely up to temperature. And you can see here, it's just, you know, this is all the solid ice. And that's what they got here while we were gone. Ideally, if we had been here, I would have turned this on well ahead of this storm and it would have never gotten to this point. But here we are. But you can see when I step, I don't know if you guys can see that, but you see the bubbles in the air? So that's trapped air beneath this ice. So the problem is that the top layer of ice here is no longer in contact with the slab. So while this has gotten a lot better over the past, what, 6-7 hours it's been on now, it's not melting it off. And the reason for that is because it's bridging, it's thermally bridging. So if I go around and step, I don't know if you guys can see that. I'm moving the bubbles around with my foot. And so the only way to fix that is to break it up and get the slab back in contact with the ice. Otherwise, I don't think if I let this stay like this overnight, it might eventually melt through, but it's going to take a while. Now, as you can see over here, and this is the hottest spot right here. It's thin, but there's still a layer of ice here. So, you know, I don't know. So I might have to take a scraper and just try to break some of this up and shovel it off. But it's definitely on and it's working, but I don't think it's gonna work because it's thermally bridging. So anyway, I thought I'd bring you guys out before it got too dark and I would show you that. And yeah, I'll decide here what I'm gonna do. Time lapse is still running, so I'll leave it on and at least watch it dry. So hey guys, out here shoveling some of this ice away, and I know some of you are gonna say just leave it, let it melt, but I don't know if you can see the reflection across this. But guys, this isn't gonna melt. There's actually spots that I'm scraping up with the scraper and it's dry underneath, and that's the thermal bridging I'm talking about. But I wanted to show you guys something kind of neat. This is my neighbor's front yard. I'm going to take just a piece of ice here that I shoveled up off the driveway. I mean, this is all ice, the grass, everything. So yeah, looks like we lost a limb on the tree out here, if you guys can see that. It's not good. But yeah, I'll try to do another shot here in the street light. Maybe you guys can see it a little better. I'll take a piece of ice. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, crazy stuff. But anyway, underneath, because the heat's on, it comes right up. It comes up very easily. I don't want to stay out here in this low light too long because I've done this before and it doesn't pick up great, and people complain that, you know, you can't see anything, and you're right. But you know, I mean, it comes up. Just got to shovel it. So I don't know that I'll do all this tonight, but and I don't know how long I'll leave the system on. I might leave it on overnight just to see what it'll do, and then come out in the morning and finish the rest. But if I can walk back here without falling, I'll show you what I already did, which you guys probably see on the time lapse. but I already did all this back here. So it's all done. I left a little patch back here just to see what it would do, and I left this over here. So, but I guarantee by morning this will be dry. I'm curious if this will melt in front of the garage here. We'll see. That's one of the counterflow loops. It doesn't really get that hot anyway, so it'll be a good test. And I'll probably just leave that just to see what it does. It is going to be down to 15 degrees Saturday night, so, or Friday night, I think, tomorrow night. So I definitely, if whatever I don't finish tonight, I'll come out probably tomorrow morning. And it's not supposed to get above freezing, so this is not going to go away on its own. For those of you that are like, oh, you know, you're wasting BTUs, just let it melt. It's not going to melt, and it's only going to get worse. So, and this is dangerous. Like, I've already fallen once. I mean, it's ice. It's all solid ice. So, anyway, yeah, you can see where I shoveled it there, and we'll just keep going. It's really not hard. It's not back-breaking just to push the ice off the driveway, and yeah, so anyway, thought I'd bring you back and show you that, and we'll let the time lapse keep rolling here. Alright guys, it's the next morning here, the 24th, about 10 a.m. and if you'll notice, it's 18 degrees out. So last night I came out here and I shoveled this off, and I know some of you are going to be like, oh man, you should have just let it run, let it melt. And yeah, I could have, but that thermal bridging is a real thing, and I'll put a link down in the description to articles I've read about it. But like I've described, what actually happens is the driveway gets warm, melts everything underneath the layer of ice, and it'll actually dry it. If the air pockets can find a way to escape, the driveway will be dry, and there'll be an air gap or a bridge between the layer of ice on the top and the driveway underneath. And unless you go around and crush it all and knock it all down to put the ice back in contact with the slab, then it doesn't melt. So this thing, you know, yeah, I could have left it on all night and let it run and run and run, and I could have come out here this morning, and instead of it being 34 degrees like it was, you know, last night when I was out here doing this, I could be trying to do it at 18 degrees. But instead I came out here last night, shoveled it off real quick, not a big deal, came off very easily, and you know, just moved it aside. I was able to shut this off by 11 p.m. and come out now, and it's totally dry. So this is all still icy. You guys can tell the sun is kind of melting it a little bit, but this is all ice, solid ice. So yeah, and it's coming off the trees. But I know I got a lot of subscribers in areas that don't get snow. I know a bunch of you are down south, because I talked to you guys in the comments, and you know, it's pretty interesting that this winter alone, for those of you that are new to my channel and must just think, wow, you know, Buffalo is insane with these storms. First it's a lake effect event in November, and then we had that crazy Christmas blizzard in December, and now, you know, February we get this ice storm with, you know, inches of ice. Guys, it's not normally like this. I mean, normally we get snow events. They're small. The driveway melts them off. It's not a big deal. This winter has been crazy when it comes to these different events, lake effect events, blizzards, ice storms now. So anyway, yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the content, but we have some company coming over today from out of town, so I really wanted this to be clear and safe for when they pull in. I don't want anybody to get hurt, and I think we've accomplished that. So once again, thanks for watching my channel. I appreciate it, and stay tuned. We've still got one more good month of March left this season before things start to warm up, hopefully, and then we'll be into solar projects and other things. But yeah, anyway, thanks for being here, and stay tuned for more. We'll talk to you guys later.